Welcome to episode 8 of the BizOwner360 series. I'm your host, Brett Trainer. As a quick reminder for first-time listeners, each episode of the 360 series will focus on a single topic and be guest-free. Each episode builds off the previous one, but you don't have to listen in order. Each one is designed as a standalone episode. And just as a quick reminder, in episode 7, I introduced the Enablement Framework or playbook, depending on what you like to call it. And this is really about the execution of your business. And, I'm not going to go back and revisit the entire episode, but essentially there's two areas of enablement. Buyer enablement, change that conversation where you're not talking about your sales process, but, how do you get that buyer through their process and buying process as quickly as possible? And then customer enablement, which is, how do you help your customers unlock the value of your product or solution? So today is the last part of the framework or the system, which I'll call support. It's a nice segue coming off of your customer success. It's really a 3-part strategy for your customers. And I like to break it into, like I said, 3 different areas. One is customer success, which we talked a little bit about last time, is how well are your customers able to leverage your solution and make them successful using your product. A lot of companies, this is an afterthought. They don't spend a lot of time. They definitely don't measure it. And I think it's just a missed opportunity for business, man. It's so hard to get new customers. You might as well make sure that the ones you have are completely satisfied and using your product or solution to the utmost. So that's one part, is customer success. 2 is customer experience. If you've listened to this podcast before, I'm a big believer that customer experience needs to be built into the DNA of your organization. When you're smaller, it's the perfect time, but it's got to be an approach. You definitely can measure it. I'll talk about that in a second. But at any point, it's how do you delight your customers, whether it's in the early part of the buying process, whether they have a problem, with your product or solution. It's just, are you truly trying to make that experience a differentiator? Because I'll tell you right now, you can think about your own usage of products. In B2B, it's especially an opportunity where most folks would rather work with an average product but have a great experience than a great product and an average experience. So again, I would intentionally build the customer experience into your organization. And the third one, so we talked customer success, customer experience. The last one is customer service, right? You never think things are going to go wrong, but they always do. And it's important to have a plan or a program in place for when things do go wrong. Customers are not expect you to be perfect, but they are going to judge you how to react to their problems, right? Is it a 45-minute on hold, or you leave a voicemail that you got a problem, you don't hear back for 2 days? This is critical. A customer, again, this is everything back around the customer and supporting that customer in their journey. And again, just assume that things are going to go bad and that you've got a process in place to address those customer service issues when they arise. It may sound like these are all 3 the same, but they're really not. Customer success, again, think about it as, how do I unlock the customer's ability to use my product, right? Are they truly being successful? And if you think about the value of that, it's, they become your biggest advocates, right? So it's much easier and more powerful for a customer to tell other people that they love your product, they use your product, versus you doing an ad or telling people how good your product is. So business development starts with that customer success. Again, have a program in place. Customer experience, the way I would talk about experiences is measure it, right? You don't have to be super large in order to have somebody come in from the outside and just do some survey work. Hey, you just onboarded with us. We'd love to ask you a few questions. What was the experience like? I had an opportunity in the last corporate role, which was more of a startup within a corporate. We were less than a $10 million business, but we hired somebody to come in and say, hey, what is that experience? What's the experience look like? And the very valid and honest feedback we got is it felt like we were doing business with 4 different companies, right? It was a handshake agreement, right? So between your SDR, BDR, to the salesperson, to the onboarding, and then ultimately into the customer success role, it was 4 very different experiences. So we decided at that point to go back and rebuild and make sure that we're looking at it and aligning it from the customer's perspective versus our own internal, handoffs or processes. So you can measure that. And again, customer service, same thing. Have a plan in place for when things do go wrong. I'd also recommend having one person, be responsible for each of these areas. If you're a smaller company, same person may be responsible for all 3. but there's got to be a focus and a commitment and somebody that's always watching and looking for these three areas. Again, you cannot go wrong if you start with the customer, right? When in doubt, start with them. And if it doesn't make sense for the customer, you're probably doing it wrong or you shouldn't be doing it. So again, this is less operational. I do think you can put a plan and a strategy, and you do want to put some metrics around to measure it. But again, this is more of a belief system in the company, right? As you start to hire folks, you want people that are going to be committed to these customers. So again, a little bit shorter episode this time, but I think it is important as a standalone that you do think about, the support for your customers. And again, it's customer success, experience, and service. And how do you do that today? And how would your customers tell you you're doing that today? So I think that's something you can start on immediately, make it a priority. And I think you'll be amazed at the benefits of actually putting these types of programs in place. So again, thank you all very much for listening. I do appreciate it. And until the next episode, cheers. Thanks again.